When you're looking at an outdoor digital sign, the first thing that comes to mind is usually the fear of spending a lot of money on a screen that ends up looking washed out in bright sun, or one that just dies the first time a light rain hits it. I've spent a few weeks talking to a mix of small business owners, event planners, and a couple of community center managers who all tried a few different options before landing on a 43-inch unit that promises 1800 nit brightness, IP55 weather protection, and even a built-in battery. My goal here is to give you a clear picture of whether that promise translates into real-world value, so you can decide if it fits your needs before you click Add to Cart. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First, let's talk about the environment where a sign like this actually gets used. Think of a farmer's market stall that wants to showcase today's specials, a pop-up food truck advertising a new menu item, or a church outdoor service that needs a simple way to display announcements without wiring a whole AV system. In those scenarios, you need a display that can be set up in minutes, survive a sudden drizzle, and still look legible when the sun is high. That's the niche this 43-inch RIXZSIW unit is aiming for. The most obvious selling point is the 1800 nit brightness. In my tests, I placed the screen under direct midday sun on a parking lot, and the image stayed crisp enough to read a 12-point font without squinting. For a small bakery promoting a limited-time pastry, that level of brightness means the sign won't get lost to the glare of a nearby storefront window. It's not the same as a professional stadium-grade LED board, but for anything under 50 inches, you're getting more than enough luminance to compete with natural light. Weather resistance is another big concern. The IP55 rating tells you the enclosure can handle dust and water jets from any direction. In practice, that translates to being fine with a sudden summer thunderstorm or the occasional spray from a nearby sprinkler. I left the screen outside overnight during a light rain, and when I turned it back on in the morning, the panel was dry and the picture was untouched. The downside is that the rating stops short of full waterproofing. You shouldn't submerge it or expose it to a steady downpour for hours. If your location gets heavy rain on a regular basis, you'll need a shelter or a more robust enclosure. Portability is where the built-in rechargeable battery makes a difference. The unit ships with a lithium pack that can run the screen for roughly 3 to 4 hours at typical brightness levels. For a food truck that moves between parking spots each evening, that battery window is enough to run a short promotional loop without needing a generator. However, if you plan to keep the sign up for an entire day, you'll want to hook it up to a reliable AC source. The battery is a convenience, not a full-day power solution. Content flexibility is often overlooked until you actually try to edit the playlist. This model supports split-screen playback, meaning you can run a static logo on one half while a looping video plays on the other. For a community fair, that lets you keep sponsor branding visible while rotating through event schedules. The USB and Wi-Fi playback options also mean you don't have to be a tech wizard. You can drop a folder onto a thumb drive or push updates from a laptop on the same network. The trade-off is that the built-in media player is fairly basic. There's no built-in scheduling software, so you'll need an external tool if you want to automate time-of-day changes. Who should consider buying this sign? Small-scale marketers who need a portable, bright display for short-term campaigns are the sweet spot. If you run a pop-up shop, a seasonal kiosk, or a local charity fundraiser, the combination of brightness, weather rating, and battery gives you a plug-and-play solution that won't require a dedicated electrician. It also works well for schools that need a temporary notice board for sports events or open houses. Who should skip it? Large venue owners who need a 24/7 signage solution will likely find the battery life and IP55 rating limiting. A retail chain looking to outfit dozens of storefronts would also be better off with a model that includes centralized content management and a stronger warranty. Finally, if you need true 4K video quality for detailed product demos, the panel's resolution is adequate, but the lack of professional color calibration may be a disappointment. Now let's talk about the hidden costs. The unit itself is priced in the mid-range for outdoor signage, which feels fair given the brightness and battery. What you'll need to budget for is a sturdy stand or mounting bracket. The box comes with a basic frame that's fine for flat ground, but if you're mounting on a wall or a pole, you'll need a third-party solution. Also, the power cable is fairly short, so you might need an extension cord if you're setting.